Hello and welcome to Weekly MTG, the only Magic the Gathering show, now to officially, full-time, come to you from inside Wizards of the Coast headquarters. I'm Blake Rasmussen, the least entertaining but most informative Magic the Gathering host, and today we are talking October Secret Lair Superdrop. I probably got those words out of order, but that's fine because what you came here to see are all the pretty things. And we are definitely going to show you everything that you can get in the October Secret Lair Superdrop in just a moment. But first, we're going to do the news. So we had a bit of news yesterday for Arena fans out there. First of all, we had a couple cards banned in Historic, Tybalt's Trickery, which went there straight from being playable. Brainstorm moved off the suspended list and into the banned list. And Memory Lapse, which has been terrorizing folks from Jeskai Control for a while, has been moved to suspended to see how the format reacts. And we'll keep an eye on the format and see what happens with Memory Lapse. But the bigger news is that Arena also rebalanced 5 digital-only cards to see what this looks like. So Davriel's Soul Broker, again, a card from Jumpstart Historic Horizons that's only available digitally, changed the third ability to only affect opponents' creatures. And then similarly, the next card, Davriel's Withering, now also only affects opponents' creatures. So this was to handle an interaction with Vesperlark that would allow you to infinitely bring the Vesperlark back in and out of the graveyard. But while those two were made a little bit worse, the next 3 cards were made more powerful. So Faceless Agent, in order to make it more widely playable, was moved from a 2/1 to a 2/2. So that may see play in some tribal decks. I've also seen that pop up in a few lists with a singular creature that you're looking for. So Niv Mizzet decks, for example, has started playing Faceless Agent as a way to tutor for their powerful dragon. Next up, we have Sarkhan, Wanderer to Shiv. The second ability was given a +1 to make it a little more attractive to activate. And then finally, we have Subversive Acolyte. There it is. Subversive Acolyte got some tweaks up and down to kind of rebalance the card, give it a little more space to breathe. The short version is the base of Subversive Acolyte was made a little bit easier to cast and a little bit stronger on the back end. And then the abilities in the card text were adjusted slightly so that the end case of being a 3/4 or a 5/5 ended up being the same. So you can check out dailymtg.com for a little more information on all those rebalances and all those changes to Historic. But now let's get to the heart of the matter. Let's talk about the October Secret Lair Superdrop. There is a ton of cool stuff in here. So we're going to go through all of the cards individually. We'll show them off with their fantastic art, design. We'll show you what's in each drop. We'll talk a little bit about how much each drop costs. And yeah, the October Superdrop goes on sale on the 18th, so be ready for that. Let's just dive right into it with the first one, Showcase Midnight Hunt. So these are bundles of lands from the original Innistrad that were activated lands for 2 different colors. So if you've been playing a long time, you're going to remember a lot of these. You may be familiar with them from Commander. I have personally activated each one of these lands in some kind of game. Some of these from Slayer's Stronghold, which sees some play in Modern with Primeval Titan. Desolate Lighthouse is a Cube and Commander favorite. Kessig Wolf Run just kills people dead and has a couple famous moments from when it was standard. Alchemist Refuge is a Commander favorite. Even Stancia Bloodhall sees a little bit of play here and there, especially in vampire builds. So let's look at each one of these gorgeous pieces of art. You'll see both a foil and a non-foil version of each of these. So this is Moorland Haunt, the one that creates spirit. Next up, Vault of the Archangel. Now, when you purchase this bundle, there's a non-foil and then there's a traditional foil bundle. The non-foil bundle is $29.99. The traditional foil bundle is $39.99. Each bundle comes with one copy of all 10 of these cards. Desolate Lighthouse, a personal favorite of mine. Loot House, if you will. Sensia Bloodhall. Didn't see a ton of play in its day, but certainly flavorful for your next vampire deck. Grim Backwoods, great in any sacrifice deck. Gorgeous art on each of these. Kessig Wolf Run. Slayer Stronghold. Gavany Township. Pretty strong in a +1/+1 counters style deck. And Alchemist Refuge, a favorite for green-blue mages who like to play spells at instant. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at the next bundle. The next bundle is Mirrodin Sanity, a package of the 5 artifact lands from Mirrodin that produce one of each color, done with a cool pixel art style. So each is an artifact land, all done by DXTR as the artist. Let's take a look at each of those individually. Just some wild, fantastically cool art on these. Great for Commander, Pauper. Legacy if you're feeling a little nutty. Very cool, very weird art. Mirrodin Sanity comes in both a non-foil and traditional foil drop, so you will get one copy of each of these cards in non-foil. It'll set you back $29.99. In traditional foil, $39.99. All right, let's move on to our next bundle, which is just, these are probably my favorite of the bunch, just because they're so cool, so weird. The Monster Movie Marathon. So let's look at these individually. They're all built out to be kind of old school B-movie posters for monster movies. Here's the set. There are 4 in the set. And yeah, I love the way these are set up. Dismember. Target creature gets -5/-5 until end of turn. Just fantastic art. Blasphemous Act. That deals 13 damage to each creature's sorcery. So the Monster Movie Marathon bundle has 4 cards in it. Feast Within, Blasphemous Act, Dismember, and the next card that we're going to show, Grafdigger's Cage. Same pricing on this one, $29.99 for the non-foil, $39.99 for the traditional foil. Just wild and weird and out there. Very strange. And then the next bundle is, or drop is similar in Thrilling Tales of the Undead, which has a kind of similar aesthetic to it. It's got 3 cards in it that all play up the horror theme. We've got Gravecrawler. She'll get revenge or die trying. So there are 3 cards in this drop. The Gravecrawler Liliana, Death's Majesty, that you can see right here, perfect for any zombie tribal deck. And then Rise of the Dark Realms. Again, these come in non-foil and traditional foil, and they are $29.99 for non-foil. Traditional foil are $39.99. By the way, all the prices I'm giving are in dollars just because most of our audience on this stream is in the United States. Not everybody, but most of it. If you want to see the pricing in other regions, that is available on secretlair.com, and dailymtg.com will have all of this information as well once this stream is done. Next up, Monster Anatomy 101. By the way, we're going to have some time for questions at the end. Hard for me to look at all these cards and follow chat at the same time. So if you put any questions in chat, we will have a Q&A session at the end where I will try to answer as much as I can. But in the meantime, let's look at these really cool Monster Anatomy 101 cards. There are 5 in this drop. Fleet Swallower, Goblin Trashmaster, Ilharg the Razeboar, Protean Hulk, and Gishath, Sun's Avatar. These 5 cards are in the drop. Same pricing. Non-foil are $29.99. Foil etched, $39.99. I love the little details on these ones. There's a little shrimp graveyard in that Fleet Swallower. There's a scrap metal shoulder and garbage gut in the Goblin Trashmaster. You can see Divine Power right there, smack dab in the middle of Ilharg the Razeboar, the Boar God. Protean Hulk has a little egg pump, a mysterious merfolk in there. Gishath, Sun's Avatar, Venomous Bite. There's an unlucky vampire tucked in there. Got some powerful arms. All with art by Timba Smith. All right, next up, we have Read the Fine Print. So for you Liliana fans out there, this is a must-have. It also comes in 3 versions, unlike the previous drop. So there's a non-foil, a foil, and a foil etched, commemorating the deal with 4 demons that was etched on Liliana's skin. So let's look at the individual cards in this drop. So of course, each of the demons gets their own card. Demon Lord Belzenluck here. You can see it's these versions are non-foil on the left, foil in the middle, or traditional foil in the middle, and foil etched on the far right. Next up, Gristlebrand. I do love that on the demons that have room for flavor text, they describe what their deal was. Power over death was Gristlebrand's gift. Liliana's formidable necromancy was now unparalleled. We have Liliana's contract, letting you know she sold her soul to 4 demons for powerful gifts. And I love that it depicts the 4 demons in there. Then we get Kothafed. Kothafed bestowed upon Liliana eternal youth, carved into her skin as intricate tattoos. Pricing on these, by the way, is similar to the other drops. The non-foil is $29.99. Traditional foil, $39.99. Foil etched is the same price as traditional foil at $39.99. Razaketh the Foul-Blooded. From Razaketh, Liliana gained sway over the living. Weak mortal souls became her plaything. That is Read the Fine Print. Which brings us to the Stranger Things Secret Lair. Now, if you've been paying attention online today, either to IGN or to several outlets on Twitter, we've been revealing these all day. But let's take a look at each of the Stranger Things cards. Now, a reminder that we announced some time ago that these cards would be receiving Magic IP equivalents that would be published in the list. Once we get through talking about this drop, I'll talk a little bit more about how that's going to work because I have some additional details that we have not shared yet. But let's stay a little bit and explore Stranger Things. So, Mind Flayer the Shadow is a 7 mana, 4 and 3 black legendary enchantment creature horror, the 9/9. It isn't a creature unless you control 3 or more permanents that you don't own. And at the beginning of your end step, exile the bottom card of each opponent's library face down. For as long as those cards remain exiled, you may look at them, you may cast permanent spells from among them, and you may spend mana or mana of any color to cast those spells. Next up, Chief Jim Hopper. For 2, a red, and a white, you get a legendary creature, Human Soldier, 4/4. He has Menace, and whenever Chief Jim Hopper attacks, investigate once for each non-token attacking creature. And then it has Friends Forever, which is the sort of pseudo-partner ability that lets 2 characters who both have Friends Forever, which is just the characters from this Secret Lair drop, partner together. So you can partner Chief Jim Hopper, for example, with our next card, Dustin, Gadget Genius. Dustin, Gadget Genius is 2, a white and a blue for a legendary creature human, 2/3. Add 2 colorless mana. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts, which actually works pretty well with Chief Jim Hopper, letting you tap to sacrifice all those clues you're going to make. And of course, it has Friends Forever. Next up, 11, the Mage. So a Grixis, 1 blue, black, and red for a legendary creature human wizard. Your maximum hand size is 11, because of course it is. 11 is a 3/5, and whenever 11 the Mage attacks, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Then if you have 11 or more cards in your hand, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. And it has Friends Forever. Next up, Lucas the Sharpshooter. Blue and a red for a 1/3 legendary creature human. That lets you tap and sacrifice an artifact. And Lucas the Sharpshooter deals 1 damage to target creature. Goad that creature. Of course, it has Friends Forever. Team up with Chief Jim Hopper and start throwing clues all around. Next up, Max the Daredevil. 1 red and a green for a 3/2 legendary creature human with haste. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, untap target creature, then investigate. And of course, it has Friends Forever. Friends Forever, of course, is a flavorful reference to the show, and it keeps these characters all kind of partnered up together. Mike, the Dungeon Master, is a 1 green and white legendary creature human, 2/2. Has the ability to and tap, choose target creature card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn, return it to the battlefield tapped. Friends Forever. And Will the Wise. White and a black for a legendary creature human, 1/2. When Will the Wise enters or leaves the battlefield, each opponent may investigate. Each opponent who doesn't investigate loses 1 life. You investigate X times, where X is 1 plus the number of opponents who investigated this way. So everybody can investigate, but you get to investigate more. Next up, the Clue Token. So if you're going to be making clues, if you're going to be investigating, you might as well have a Stranger Things themed clue token with art by Jen Ramanatran and flavor text. Pricing on this, non-foil is $39.99. Traditional foil is $49.99. So there are also several bundles that you can order all of these drops. So if you want 1 copy of each in non-foil, That will set you back $189.99. If you want one copy of each foil, so that will obviously not include the etched foil version of the Liliana drop, $279.99. And then the Boo-tacular Bundle, which includes one copy of everything, is $449.99. And then the one other additional bit of information that I wanted to share with you all on the Stranger Things drop. So again, we shared a little bit ago that the Stranger Things cards and any Universes Beyond card that was mechanically unique would, down the line, receive a in-Magic treatment. So it would be the same card, but it would be flavored after a Magic character, existing or not, but more flavored in the Magic multiverse. Those would come in the list down the line. So wanted to give you, there were a lot of questions about how often those would show up, so I actually have some numbers. I went digging with the studio, and they let me know that, so the Magic equivalent of these Stranger Things cards are going to show up on the list in Streets of New Capenna. That'll give you a timeline of when they're going to show up. And then in that set, approximately one out of every 8 Streets of New Capenna set boosters will contain the Magic equivalent of one of these Stranger Things cards. They will all drop at the same rarity. And then another 1 out of every 8 set boosters will contain the rest of the list. So effectively, 1 out of every 4 set boosters in Streets of New Capenna will contain a card from the list. Half of those, approximately, again, will be the Magic versions of these cards, and half of them will be other cards from the list. So these will be significantly more common than other cards on the list. Just for Streets of New Capenna, that ratio is going to change for the list after Streets of New Capenna, but for this specifically, that's where that's going to land. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. We have lots of time for questions, so let's get to it. Again, if you put questions in chat and I haven't seen them yet, then you're going to want to put it back in chat, and I'll get back to them. So the first one I see is any OP news. Not right now. I know the team is hard at work on some stuff that will be coming, but I don't have anything for you today. So question, are we moving towards secret layers that contain cards like the movie poster cards where the cards have very little resemblance to Magic cards? So Secret Lair at its core is something that allows us to do weird and wild things, experiments, things that not only don't fit in other sets, but are just weird, like those movie posters. Some people like them, and they're very cool looking. And you know, this allows us to dip our toe in that space, and for the people who love them, they love them. Oh man, lots of questions. No Steve in the Secret Lair drop. You know, I don't know. I wasn't involved in that. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, no Steve Harrington. I do not have any news on any of the other Universes Beyond drops. So nothing on Fortnite, nothing on 40K, Warhammer 40,000. So no news there. Let's see, trying to keep up with this. Will the nerfed cards on MTG Arena be given refunds? They will not, as of right now. Let's see. When can we expect to see more about Lord of the Rings Universes Beyond? So that set doesn't release until 2023, and it will have it is a full set, so it will have a normal build-up and preview cycle, so look for that more when we hit 2023. What's my favorite 7th edition card? Man, I don't have encyclopedic knowledge of 7th edition, but I'm going to say Lord of Atlantis, just because I know that card is in that set. Will the Magic equivalents have partners? So no, this is a question in reference to the Stranger Things Friends Forever. It will have, I actually don't know if it's Friends Forever or if it's phrased differently on the Magic equivalent, but it will have an ability that limits the subset of cards to partner with. So you will not, the Magic equivalent of Will the Wise, for example, will not be able to partner with cards that are outside this group. I'm not sure if it's going to be called Friends Forever, or if it's going to be renamed when we get to the Magic equivalents. I have not actually seen the new cards that will be on the list. All right. Favorite mode of Sultai Charm? Getting a lot more personal questions than I expected. Draw cards, obviously. Can the pony silver bordered cards be given Friends Forever or at? You know what? If you want to, go for it. Will the Magic equivalents be standard legal or same legality? Same legality. So the list does not affect legality of cards. So just because they're showing up on the list doesn't change them to standard legal. Is the modern format getting unbanned? Not that I'm aware of. Is the summer drop still set to ship this month? I don't have that information in front of me, so I do not know. Thanks to the person who said, I hope your little one is doing well. They are doing really well. Will we ever get Magic equivalents of The Walking Dead, or did Marl lie about that? So Mark said, and if I'm remembering the statement that you're referring to, what Mark said was that we have the ability to do so. Now, if you read the article where we said that we were going to start doing this for Secret Lairs, we said we didn't currently have any plans to go back and do that. Now, that was at the time. We didn't currently have any plans. I don't have anything new to announce about that. We certainly reserve the right to possibly do that in the future, but we also don't have any plans. So Mark didn't lie. Mark said that we could do it, and the way we are doing the Stranger Things bit shows exactly how we could. Show us a cheeky Crimson Vow card. Man, no. I would love to. We do. A lot of people ask this question. I don't particularly see it in chat, but stay tuned on 10/28. October 28th. Let's see. Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt? Lightning Bolt, obviously. Will there be another super drop this quarter? Maybe. I don't have anything to announce on that today. Is Friends Forever partner? No, just to reiterate, it is not partner. It is partner for a subset of cards. So the Friends Forever cards can only partner with other cards with Friends Forever. Show us the pixel art lands again. Sure, yeah, why not? Why isn't this a hot tub stream? You don't want to see that, man. You don't want to see that. Yeah, so these are the pixel art with art by DXTR. When will the drops be available? So they go on sale October 18th. Yep, October 18th. Are you a Street Fighter fan, Blake? Who's your favorite character? I did play a lot of Street Fighter when I was younger. That did not translate into, we have a couple people on my team here, including one of our community managers, who are big fighting games and big Street Fighter games, Street Fighter fans. I'm not, it didn't carry over into my adulthood, but I played a lot as a kid. I tended to play with Blanca. Yeah, I'll say Blanca. Also, I love the movie. It's a bit cheesy, but I really, really enjoyed it. Will the sale overlap with the Extra Life Secret Lair? Yes. So we did announce that there's an Extra Life Secret Lair. There will be some overlap with the sales. We're going to talk more about the Extra Life one next week. Any secret codes for today? No secret codes. What's my favorite Secret Lair so far? Oh, man. What is my favorite Secret Lair so far? That is a really great question. I'd have to think about that. I mean, I guess I'll go probably Bitter Blossom Dreams. Bitter Blossom Dreams is just, it's gorgeous, and I know it's one card and not a full drop, but I really like the art on that. I really love the tokens. So I'm gonna go with Bitter Blossom Dreams for my favorite. I do have, even though I'm not a Goblins fan, I do have a soft spot for Explosion Sounds, just because it was the first one. It was the first one that we put out that was weird. Like, Secret Lair started out very much kind of taking a conservative route and just making beautiful art. But then Explosion Sounds was a bit weird. Black is Magic was really good too. I really liked Black is Magic as well. Let's see. Is product saturation a concern for Wizards of the Coast? I would actually, to answer that question, I would actually point you to IGN today, and I think we have the link on the front of Daily MTG. I can't see Daily MTG right now, so I'm not 100% on that. But there was an article on IGN today by Tom Marks that explored kind of the future of Magic and Magic being at a pivot point. And in that article, Aaron Forsyth, VP here, was interviewed and talked a little bit about, I think it was him, it was either him or Mark Hagan, talked a bit about product saturation and how much we're doing. So I would go there to learn a little bit more about that. Let's see. Will we ever get a different land cycle in a Ravnica block? Maybe. Merfolk Secret Lair when? Well, we've found the professor's alt account. I don't know. I would absolutely love a Merfolk Secret Lair. When will we get more rat cards? I don't know. Stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. Lots of rat fans, or maybe it's just one rat fan continuously asking in chat. Stay tuned. Any chance the wild card on Mika gets? Let's see. And will Teferi ever get unbanned? I would imagine Teferi's probably not getting unbanned. Whether or not the metagame ever got to a place where you could unban it, it's not a card that a lot of people are fans of, and so it's probably just going to stay on the banned list. Rat Secret Lair when? We already did a Rat Secret Lair. It was called Year of the Rat, and it was in early 2020, I think. So already did it. Can we see the black and white lands Secret Lair again? Yes. So the Showcase Midnight Hunt. Unbanned Golos. That actually was not. No, that wasn't us. That was Commander Rules Committee. Is Wizards of the Coast giving any serious consideration to competitive paper tournaments, or is Arena their only focus? Oh, we're absolutely working on serious paper tournaments. So there are, like I've said before, there are a couple constraints on us doing it. One, doing large paper tournaments that feed into an organized play system when travel isn't allowed from every country is difficult, because that says to certain countries, like, hey, you can't participate in our organized play system that maybe leads to the World Championship. So I know the play team is working on what it's going to look like when we do fully return to a tabletop system, but we are currently focused on the digital system. But tabletop high level play is absolutely going to return. Did you see the recent stream by Aspiring Spike where they tested Splinter Twin? Is Wizard considering any unbans? Not that I've heard. I'm not, I get to sit in on the BNR meetings, but I'm not one of the people who makes those decisions. So if there are any considerations about that, I don't know. I did not see that particular stream. When will we get a foil Mystic Remora? Man, I don't know. That would be cool. I love Ice Age. Can we errata old werewolves, or at least Moonmist? So here's what I say to that. It's probably not going to happen where they're actually functionally errated. But what I would say is, if you bring a werewolf commander deck to the table have a conversation with the people you're playing with and just say, hey, can we make everything just do day-night? And I think most players, if they're there to have fun and enjoy the game, will just say yes. So I think you can make that happen. What card would you most like in a Secret Lair? Ooh, man, that is a great question. I mean, so it's tough for me because a lot of my favorite cards are tied up in nostalgia. So I love the old Alliances set. So getting new art on an old card doesn't always do it for me. But you know what I really like? I really like the retro frame cards that were in Time Spiral Remastered. So whatever my answer, maybe like a retro frame Cloud Blazer would be fun. I'm trying to think what some of my favorite cards are recently. It would definitely be something in a retro frame, and but that's never been printed in a retro frame. Crimson Vow spoilers. When? Crimson Vow previews start on October 28th. A lot of rats commentary in here. All right. Yeah, I'm on board Team Loom Empire, Team Retro Frame cards. Love retro frame cards. Will there be another set like Time Spiral Remastered? Maybe. Can I say Asmo correctly still? I could never say it correctly in the first place. I don't have any further information on Lord of the Rings set. Is there a setting for Magic you were interested in years ago that you wouldn't even suggest, but with the way things are going might become a possibility in this day and age? Boy, I don't even know how to answer that question. I'm also not a designer and not someone who considers what set to go to. I think that's a question in reference to the fact that in various places we've said over the years that Kamigawa would be difficult to go back to, and now we're going back to Kamigawa. So I don't know the answer to that. It's a great question for one of our world building team members at some point in time. Will the MTG flavored Stranger Things cards be characters from New Capenna? I actually do not know the answer to that. They might be, but they're going to be on the list, so it's not necessary. I don't know. We will, of course, when we get closer to New Capenna, reveal what those cards look like and answer all of these questions. Can you show the zombies one again, please? Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's put that. There it is. That Gravecrawler's wild. Art by Faye Dalton. Gladiator as a real Q when? I love Gladiator. I love singleton formats. I don't think that's on any roadmap coming up soon. But there are, if you like Gladiator, definitely there's a Discord. Ben Wheeler streams it every once in a while, does some deck building. He's a big proponent of it. So if you're into Gladiator, I suggest checking that out. Why do the demons say 2020 on the bottom when the other cards read 2021? I don't know. I didn't actually notice that. Can we get foil versions of the list of the MTG Stranger Things cards? Right now, the list does not come in foil. But here, let me expand on that a little bit, because printing these cards in the list, it does two things. One, it gets the cards out there for people who would prefer them in a Magic version. But two, it creates the Magic version so that we can then reprint that Magic version at other points in time, including in foil versions. So, they could end up in a Master set. They could end up in a Secret Lair. What it does is it creates them so that we then have the opportunity to make them in foil in other places. But right now, the list is not in foil. When will we be getting fetch lands on Arena anytime soon? I wouldn't hold your breath. Why doesn't Wizards manage Commander? That is a bigger question than this stream is capable of. Which of the recent set designs were you a part of? You know, unfortunately, none. There was a time when I was able to participate in, things like hole filling and draft testing. I don't talk about it much, but my role has expanded here over the years. I've been a Wizards of the Coast for 7 years, so my job has changed, and I just have less time. And then with remote working and having 3 children, I have less time to do the stuff that isn't core to my job. So unfortunately, nothing that is out or coming out have I been a part of. I was asked to be part of a playtest that's happening literally right now. That breaks my heart, but we'll get back to that. Is cereal soup? No. Can we get cards of older world champs? Probably not. That sounds like a logistical nightmare. Any more squirrels coming? Not that I'm aware of. Questions about guns from Warhammer 400 or 40,000. We'll talk about that when we get closer to that set. How does Wizards of the Coast choose cards that go into the secret layers? Man, that would actually make a really good entire show. So I'll talk to the secret layer team, and maybe we'll have some conversations about how they pick things. I do know that in some instances, not all, we go to the artists and we say, hey, we want you to do awesome art. What would you like to do? So that in particular goes for the artist series. So if you see something that's an artist series, most of the time we'll have gone to the artist and said, we'd like you to do something. And they'd say, this is what I want to do. In fact, we did an interview on Weekly MTG with Seb McKinnon a while back. I can't say how long at this point, but a while back. If you go check that out, you can probably just search for Weekly MTG Seb McKinnon, where he talks about why he picked the cards that he picked. So I think there are a number of factors, and I know artist selection is one of them. How is it being back in the office? So we, as a company, are not entirely quite back in the office. We are back next week. There's a lot that goes into it. We'll see. We'll see how it is. I've been in and out of the office occasionally because our kids' daycare is here. What is the frequency and set boosters again for the Magic versions of the Stranger Things cards? The frequency is that 1 out of every 8 set boosters from Streets of New Capenna will have one of these Magic versions of the Stranger Things cards. So 1 out of every 8, and each card will drop at the same frequency. So there's none that are more rare or more common than others. And then additionally, 1 out of every 8 will contain a different card from the list. So 1 out of every 4 set boosters will contain a card from the list. Half of those will be one of these. What was the best Magic set and why was it unglued? It wasn't. It was Alliances. I'm sorry. Will we see unbannings in Historic as the format grows? Probably. You know, we have had one card come off suspension. Burning Tree Emissary was suspended and then actually came off suspended and has been fine since then. So I think unbannings can happen. I don't see any on the horizon, but yeah, as the set as Historic grows and changes, we'll see. Why can't you make the crossover Secret Lair cards silver bordered? So we've talked about this in a couple places. The gist of it is we want people to, our goal is for people to be able to play Magic with the cards that they have. What we've found over the years is that silver bordered cards are treated as not real Magic cards. And that's due to some mixed messaging on our part, to them not being legal in any tournament formats. Our intention was not when we made silver bordered cards was not to be like, you have to have a conversation before you can play these cards. But that's certainly been the case. And so doing silver bordered for cards that mechanically can be black bordered creates a sort of gatekeeping mechanism that is sort of the antithesis of how we want Magic to be, where people can sit down and play with the cards that they want and enjoy themselves. So putting something on a silver bordered puts a barrier to playing with those cards that we really didn't find fun. Let's see. Crimson Vow previews start on October 28th. Not a problem if you just tuned in. What plane is Stormcrow from? Stormcrow is from all planes. Stormcrow is a universal constant. Every plane has a Stormcrow. That's creatives probably shaking their heads at me, but I'm going to go with it. Is the read the fine print Secret Lair art a large art in the first place? I think let's bring up the read the fine print. Let's put up all the cards if we can. See if I can discern what they're talking about. Oh, I think they're asking if it's one large piece of art. I'm actually not sure. I don't think so. I don't see elements from each, but they certainly all match each other. So if the question was if they're like a panorama, I think the answer is no. Is the Lord of the Rings set going to be legal in Modern? Yes. White counterspell support when? Hopefully never. Mana Tithe is one of my least favorite cards in the world. Let's see, we just put read the fine print. Will you reprint Dockside Extortionist already? So many people want it. Oh, I'll talk to some people. Rat counterspell. We're all about the rats in here. Let's see. Are the foil etched cards going to be just like previous foil etched cards? I'm mainly concerned with how dark the cards are. I can't speak to the perception of darkness. Foil etched is, it's a process of etching. There you can see it kind of on the right. And even then, it's hard to translate when you don't have a physical card in hand to show what it looks like. So the process is not different. Now the layout on the card and exactly how it's etched can be a little bit different. So hard to say. Will we see a reprint of Ren and 6? Maybe. I would say probably. Any historic remastered sets or anthologies on the horizon? Not any that I have to announce today. Let's see. Will we see a physical card of the Etched Demons when they go on sale? Probably not. Now that we are back in office, we may have more access to physical cards. Because people aren't in office, it's been harder to get samples to show off here and there. We may get there, but that won't happen before Monday when they go on sale. Can you give the details on the Secret Life Extra Layer? Or Secret Lair Extra Life. Not yet. Look for those next week. Look for those next week. Are you guys happy with how Ragavan and Urza's Saga are doing in Modern? You know, honestly, Modern is a pretty diverse format right now. I'm not on the Play Balance team, so I'm not really the one to ask about that. But from what I've seen, the Modern community is generally happy with how that format looks right now. That's not speaking for anyone. It's especially a lot of the talkers and people online who talk about it. But So that would be a question for the play balance team. How could you forget that Stormcrow comes from alliances? I don't. It's a next thing. It comes from all the planes. But yeah, it was originally printed in alliances. What about Legacy, which struggles to fire on Mitgo? I can't speak to struggling to fire on Mitgo, but I will say that in a BNR meeting we had recently, Legacy was discussed. I don't have a timeline or anything like that for you right now, but it was a topic of discussion. How many meetings a day do you have? That's an oddly personal question. Is your Google Calendar full all the time? It is often full. It is often full. Can you tell us how many more Secret Lair drops there are this year? No, it is a secret. All right. We're running out of time, and these questions, while entertaining, I don't have answers for a lot of them. So let's recap what we've talked about so far. The October Superdrop goes on sale on Monday. We have a bunch of cool drops in this one. We have let's just go through the overall pictures. So Showcase Midnight Hunt showcases in black and white some of the old Innistrad lands. Mirrored Insanity is artifact lands, one of each color. Pixel art. The Monster Movie Marathon is cool and weird and wild. And makes everything look like a monster movie poster. And then we have the Thrilling Tales of the Undead, which has a similar vibe for some zombie and Liliana themed cards. Next up, Monster Anatomy 101. We got some monsters. It shows their anatomy. It's pretty straightforward. The cards are cool. Read the Fine Print, which shows us the details of Liliana's contract with the 4 demons. Cross the 4 demons in her contract. And then, of course, the Stranger Things Secret Lair drop, which has mechanically unique cards. Again, reminder, Magic versions of these cards will be on the list come Streets of New Capenna. And these go on sale on Monday, the 18th. They do come in 3 different bundles. The non-foil Nightmare bundle is $189.99 in US dollars. The Ferocious Foil bundle is $279.99, again in US dollars. And the Boo-tacular Bundle, which is one of everything, is $449.99 US dollars. For other currency prices, please check out the Secret Lair website or dailymtg.com. It should be up. If it's not up now, it should be up shortly. So definitely check out them. We are going to be off next week. We've got that whole back to office week. And then the week after that is the debut. So we got a little bit of prep work to do. So we are not going to be here next week, but we will be back on October 28th. Do the after show to talk about Crimson Vow. We'll have Mark Rosewater. We'll have Adam Prosak. We'll be previewing cards. It'll be a good time. Be sure to come back the morning of October 28th. In the meantime, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.